Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're very sorry for the technical problem from the beginning of this thing, but we've managed to sort things out now. Yeah. Apology on my side. I'm not an IT guru. This evening, I'm here to talk about the COVID-19 and the impact it can have on our mental health and well-being as a result of social distancing and the lockdown situation we're in. The lockdown situation and the social distancing advice that have followed have caused changes to our life, which we perhaps weren't prepared for. Um, during the um, During the current COVID-19 crisis, it has become even more important to pay attention to the mental health of those around us as well as ourselves. Situations like this can often cause people to feel depressed and anxious, but it is important to remember that these feelings are natural reaction to ongoing crisis, and more importantly, it is temporary. Like I said, I give glory to Allah for allowing us to have this section today, and also thanks to Asalatu Rahman for inviting me to give this lecture. Uh, as my background is mental health, and the organization did talk to me about it, and I thought about the topic, and I think with the current situation of things, depression and anxiety will be more appropriate to talk about. So, like depression, I mean, generally mental health. Um, so I'm going to be talking about mental health facts and the statistics. During the current COVID-19 crisis, it has become even more important to pay attention to the mental health of those around us as well as ourselves. Because situation like this, like I said, can often cause people to feel depressed and anxious. But it is important to know that this thing is temporary. So today I'll be giving some information and offering advice that can help us to deal with our situation better and hopefully allow us to help each other. For the purpose of the audience and for the purpose of the Asalatu organization, we have some elders among us. So I might be mixing my presentation with Yoruba language for simplicity and everything. But I believe we all understand English. And as we go along, this one is going to take like 30 minutes, and then we have 30 minutes for question and answer. May Allah help me to deliver the lecture as expected, and may Allah help us to understand and find something useful from my presentation. So there's a lot of stigma around topic of mental health in society, and even more so um, when it comes to African society, we tend not to kind of express ourselves enough. And there's nothing wrong in seeking help. There's nothing wrong in seeking support, as long as we talk to the right people. We have responsibility to ourselves around us to be more open and um, how we are feeling, and more receptive to uh, feeling around us, and to be less judgmental with around mental health issues. Thank you. This kind of approach is what will allow us to tackle our problem that we may face, as well as take note of um, people's certain things that we can use to help to reduce this issue. Like I'm saying, Asanatu Ramon is a well-organized organization, and in the last couple of months, we have several. There has been some government guidelines on lockdown, whereby people have been staying alone at home, and people are there's some restriction about going out except for essential things like medication, like food, or maybe just some exercise. So this has kind of helped us to, this has kind of, we either see it in a positive way or negative way. Some people, it gives them quality time to spend with their family, and some people, like if there's an issue there, people find it difficult to kind of cohabitate in the lockdown. But there's so many things like we can see. like the signs and symptoms of this depression, and, and recognizing it in ourselves. For example, feeling helpless and hopeless, like a bleak outlook. Nothing will ever get better. Nothing you can do to improve situation. But just know that you're not alone. It's natural to feel this way under the lockdown, and but it's being able to get some help around it that will help people to kind of overcome it. For example, loss of interest in daily activities. You don't care anymore about former activities. You cannot even be bothered. And a lot of people under the social lockdown, they think, oh, where am I going? What's the point of waking up in the morning or this and that? But it's not so. You've lost your ability to feel joy, to even feel pressure. I mean, to feel pleasure in some ways. Um, and the appetite as well, and weight loss, significant weight loss or weight gain during this lockdown period. Some people don't even have the appetite to eat, or they can't be bothered to even cook for themselves. Sometimes they overeat, which we call which we know as comfort eating. You just pick there and pick there. There's nowhere to go, this and that. But there's so many ways that we can help to cope with this, that will help us to manage our situation. Appetite and weight loss, I've mentioned that. Sleep changes. It's either it's insomnia, which is when you find it difficult to fall asleep, or sometimes you wake up early in the morning, or we have a lot of rumination, like, oh, why did I not do this? Why did I do that? For people who are who are professional, or who have experience of mental health, they will know what I'm talking about. But like sometimes you wake up, you go to the toilet, and then when you go back to bed, you should be able to fall asleep. But when you find it difficult to fall asleep, this is kind of the signs and symptoms I'm talking about. Anger or irritability, feeling agitated, restless, or sometimes even violent. Your tolerance level is very low. Your temper is short. Everything and everyone gets on your nerve. You might not notice this yourself, but people around you will say, hang on a minute, this person doesn't react like this. What is going on? But it's about just being self-aware. You might not even think it's anything to do with depression, but it's just the natural reaction. Some people, they are used to going out, but during the lockdown, they can't even go anywhere because of the restriction. So they kind of um, carry out, bottle up things in their mind, and then any slighted things, they just kind of bust out, and you will be thinking, where's this coming from? Sometimes loss of energy, feeling fatigued, sluggish, physically drained. Your whole body feel heavy. Even small tasks are exhausting and take longer to complete, and you're wondering what is going on. These are all part of the signs and symptoms that we should be aware of. We should be aware of, and we should kind of manage well, or seek professional help if it's becoming out of hand. Self-loathing, strong feeling of worthiness, unworthiness, or guilt. You actually criticize yourself. Some things that you would just simply overlook, it becomes a problem for you. You kind of magnify things, and blaming yourself for other things. Like sometimes people like reckless behavior. You engage in escapist behavior, such as substance abuse for people, for our young people, like compulsive gambling, or reckless driving, or dangerous sports. Concentration problem. Sometimes you go downstairs, you want to pick up something, and then you get there, you're thinking, what have I come back? What have I come to do? You can't even remember what you've come back to do. Or sometimes you promise to call someone, or you promise to meet people, and you tend to forget about this. All these are some things that we should be aware of. Unexplained aches and pain, an increase in physical complaints such as headaches, back pain, or ache and muscle pain. You don't know where this pain is coming, and you're thinking, I've not been going away under lockdown, but why am I tired? Why do I have all these pains, or why do I have all these aches? And then sometimes you call GP, and it's just like a revolving door. You call in your GP, GP is um, analgesic medication, but you still feel that way. And these are the signs that we need to look out for. Fortunately, in our organization, Salatu Rahman, during the lockdown, we have different committees like welfare committees. We have other people like like members volunteering to give phone call to people to check our elders who lives alone, or to check our vulnerable members who have children who are single parents. There are so many things that we put in place for people to be able to tap in, and thank God and thank Allah, this thing seems to be working very well. So dealing with depression, um, I mean, all these things are even for us mothers who have young children in the house. There are some things that we need to look for in our children. I know this lockdown is either it will either make us or break us. For some people, it gives them time to even know what their children are up to, especially the young ones. Now that the school are on lockdown, and they are not able to meet with their friends, or they're not able to go out, and they're having all this like temper tantrum, you should be able to kind of explore. And we should always talk about, you should always communicate with our children how they are feeling, and not to be engrossed and not to be engrossed in our own problem, but reaching out to the young ones. Have you called your friend today, or have you spoken with someone? It's always good to talk. And like I said, especially in our African community, we don't normally seek support when it comes to mental health. We think it's a taboo, that what is mental health? Just get over it. I've seen a lot of reaction among our community, like there's nothing like mental health. You just need to get on with it, and not dwell over it. But luckily, we have we are in a country that have all this support for us to be able to tap in. And I always say that there's always a thin line between sanity and insanity. Anyone can become ill, anyone can have mental health. It's not the end of the world. And this stigmatization needs to kind of be removed, and being self-aware will help us a long way to be able to recognize people, and to be able to reach out to people as well. Ordinary telephone call will go a long way with people. And if someone doesn't want to talk, I mean, not everyone likes to talk, and not everyone likes to share their not everyone likes to share their problem. But we should have someone that we can trust, that we can talk to, either friends, family, or even by an open question like, oh, how are you feeling, is enough. And just being able to listen. You don't have to judge people, you don't have to give answer or the right answer. Sometimes we always say, problem solved, I mean, some problem shared is problem half solved.
Understand.
So some people live alone, and they haven't got anyone to talk to. Even during the lockdown, even people do shopping, they drop it at the doorstep and they move away just because of the social distancing and the government guidelines. So it's always good to talk. And when you have someone you can talk to, you'll be able to kind of seek help. And if it's going to be like a professional help, then they will advise you to seek professional help. At the end of this my presentation, I've got a lot of resourceful information which people can tap in. And there's like a professional and confidential telephone calls to either Samaritan, Sin. All those one will be discussed at the end of the lecture. And like I said, so dealing with depression, like normally you plan your day. Even though we're in lockdown, we've not been going out, we don't have anywhere to go. But it's still very good to have a structured day. If you normally wake up at the same time that you will wake up if you're going out, not just lying down in bed that there's nothing to do. That will kind of make us more depressed, or make us more anxious about things. As tempting as it might be to stay in pajamas all day, regular routines are essential to kind of identify ourselves and restore self-confidence and purpose. So try to start your day routinely at the same time that you usually be able to get out. And also moving more every day, like exercise. Nowadays, during the lockdown, we have a lot of exercise shared on website, on internet, on where we can reach, even like forming a group You can form a group with your friends that you're comfortable with. You share recipes. Like I said, in our organization, Salaturam, I belong to a group chat whereby they send like mathematics, they send like public problem solving solution, even sharing recipe. Like if somebody tries something and it's good, you share the recipe with people. You can even go online. There's a lot of things that you can share, like using it to relax yourself, like relaxation, cooking, talking with someone, like playing Ludo, playing Scrabble, just something to occupy yourself and distract yourself from this negative thinking. And just knowing at the back of your mind that this is all temporary and it will go away. The COVID-19, as we all know, the impact is greatly on everyone globally and everywhere. So even the government, they don't have a solution to it. It's all try and error, and people are still trying to figure out what's going to happen. Even the vaccine they're talking about, we're not sure when this vaccine is going to be ready. But before then, we have to look after our mental health and our mental well-being. It's always good to talk, like I always say, and like I always tell my friends or even my patient as well. And try relaxation technique. There are various relaxation technique that we can try. Re, like just even a short walk. Before I don't used to go for walk or anything, but now for those of us that have young children at home, these kids, they always want to walk, they always want to go to the park. And my kids invite me one day, and I thought, oh, let me just try it. And then we went around to the park, and I kind of enjoy it. And since then, we've kind of been going. Even sometimes I ask them, are we going for a walk today? It's always good, and it always helps to keep the mental and to keep us balanced in our mental well-being. Um, Also, I'm going to talk about anxiety. Anxiety, there are some similarities between anxiety and depression. It's just is our way of managing things and how we can recognize this in people, like um, like connecting to people, especially if you live on your own. It's always good to connect to people. Find creative way to keep in touch with co-workers, friends, family, and other help that you feel more connected and supported with. Not everything will work. Different things work for different people, but you need to find out what you are more comfortable with, and then you can go along with that. Take time to reflect and practice self-compassion. um so like make every day to reflect on what went well. It's important to recognize your success and the things that you're grateful for, no matter how small. There's this group chat that I belong to. We always send messages like, say Alhamdulillah. For you waking up to see another day, it's enough for you to thank Allah that at least I see another day. For those ones that only we used to say this thing in Yoruba that entoku niti eton, but if you're still alive, there is hope, and there's always hope to tap things up. Kọ́lọ́n kó fi oríjì àwọn tí ó kú during this lockdown. It's not their own doing, and we always have this belief that nothing will ever happen without the knowledge of Allah. And I believe everybody have that belief in their mind. If it's not meant to be, it will not be. It won't happen. We have a lot of people that were during the isolation, they were admitted in hospital, and I've known few friends or few family friends that they went into the hospital and they were able to be discharged home, which means it's not their time. And when it's not your time, it's not your time. For those people that happen to pass away during this thing, we give glory to Allah for their life, and we know that may Allah comfort their family and grant them and grant them Aljon of Fidaus, and help their family to be able to grieve and pray for them and make everything easier for them from now on. So it's if like I was saying that sometimes things happen for a reason, especially those with who have the underlying cause. But the anxiety that it causes in the society, like, oh my God, is it going to be meanness? Or people are like sharing videos of people who have passed away. If you are not comfortable sharing that, you can just unmute yourself from that group or from the person that is sending it. It doesn't mean you unfollow them, but it's just that you don't want to share that. You don't want to listen to all this bad news because we tend to kind of forget ourselves from the early beginning of the thing. We tend to glue to the news. We tend to glue to any message on WhatsApp, on social media, but you try to kind of discourage yourself from listening to that because there's this thing that says how do I put it, like kéèyàn má kú de ikú. But I know this season is very, very unnerving for us. It has never I mean, it has happened before in the history. Like some time ago they said in 1918 or something like this happened, but it hasn't happened in our generation. So there's always a lot of reaction to it. But we should be able to manage our well-being in order to survive it and in order to move on with our life. So we parents, I mean, I know the young children too are having this difficulty. If you don't ask them, you won't know what is going on. There's a lot of students from university, when they were away from home, they managed to cope and get on with their life. But now they have to come back to the parents. A lot of things have been happening that people don't take notice of. But this is where the parents have to be self-aware, know how you react to your child, know, just have it in the back of your mind, their reaction to your comments. Some comments can be can some comments can have devastating effect on these young people. They don't know what you're going through. You don't know what they're going through. But being able to communicate each other, you'll be able to kind of arrive at a communicable place that you can really talk to them. Have you called your friends today, or do you have anyone you can call? Just simple questions like that goes a long way with the young people. So I'm gonna be talking briefly on anxiety. Anxiety is our body's way of responding to being in danger. The adrenaline rushed into our bloodstream to enable us to run away or fight. This happens when whether the danger is real or we're just thinking about it in our head. But knowing about it and being self-aware about anxiety will help us to kind of adjust ourselves and not unnecessarily be in fear of thinking, oh, am I going to die next? My friend has passed away. This is going to happen to me. I've seen a whole family where one person is positive and the whole family are negative. But how do we deal with this? How do we even manage the family? So that's the point I'm trying to get across. It's natural to feel stress. Some stresses are positive and some stresses are negative. When, for example, if you're going for an exam, you're bound to feel stress. Somebody needs to measure my stress today with this presentation. You will know what I'm talking about. But positive stress will help us to kind of prepare and be alert and be able to perform well. But when this stress is having an impact on our day-to-day activities, then it becomes a problem. And you're panicking, you're not able to manage things, and then sooner or later everything will just kind of turn like a failure. It's not like you are not prepared, but you let the stress overcome you, thereby you've even forgotten how to relax. You've forgotten all the preparation you've made. I nearly got into that, but thank God Elijah Rekoyama came to the rescue. So you can know what I'm talking about. Um, so it's good to feel stress. It's good to feel anxious, but at the same time, just be self-aware to put everything in place and manage it well. We tend to like overthink sometimes. Like I said, humanity wouldn't have survived for long without this life-saving response. It works so well that it often kicks in when it's even not needed. When the danger is in our head rather than in reality, then that's when we um try to find a defensive way to attack or to run away. People who get anxious tend to get into scanning mode where they constantly look out for danger, hyper alert to any of the signals that make it more likely that the alarm system will be activated in our brain. The thoughts that often occur relate to us overestimating or exaggerating the actual threat and underestimating or minimizing our ability to cope. Like I said, I was well prepared and everything. But when things started going wrong, I was panicking that, oh my God, oh, I've forgotten everything. Oh, it's not going to happen. But um, Elijah Orekoya was able to reassure me that, please, we know you can do it. Just calm down, have a cup of water, and then we'll start. And everything is, Alhamdulillah, I was able to kind of get things back on track. It's just being able to check what is going on and being able to bring yourself back on track. That's where things happen. But sometimes this thing, we can be overwhelmed with all these things that we might need to have a professional help or professional support or professional advice. There's nothing. Don't be ashamed if you think you need that. Then please feel free to call all those confidential number, which I'm going to be sharing after this meeting, to be able to talk. Just simple talk. We are in a good country whereby there's support available. Imagine if we're back in Africa, whereby there's nothing like mental health. Although we have issue of mental health and everything, but it's not openly discussed. And for you to say, oh, I've got this, they look at you as if you're weak. Especially our men. Our men don't really seek support where it's meant to be. You're supposed to be like a macho man, so you shouldn't be seen as weak. And to be honest with you, anybody, I'm saying it without any without mincing my word, anybody could be mentally unwell. It's just the ability of getting back to normal. We have professionals who have mental health issue. It doesn't stop them from performing their job as long as they are self-aware of their strength and weaknesses, and they take medication if they are prescribed one, or they seek support. There's so many talking therapy. There's so many resources available. You don't need to go on medication if you don't have to go on medication. But there's a lot of support like IAPT, like psychological talking therapy and stuff like that, which will be displayed at the end of this thing. But the important thing is to be able to recognize when these things happen. Sometimes we might not be aware of it, but behavior that might show some anxiety, things like avoiding people or places, not going out, going to certain places at certain time, e.g., shopping at smaller shops at less busy time. We may not like, because our culture, we don't discuss things in open. So if someone say, oh, let's go out to Tesco or something, instead of you to say, oh, actually, sometimes I feel anxious about going to big store, you say, oh, I don't feel like going out today, I'll go some other time, or you just find an excuse not to be bothered to go out. And these things, before it can pile up, like I always say, problem shared is problem half solved. But if you don't discuss this, they'll just think, oh, she doesn't want to. He doesn't want to go out, and then they leave you on your load. They leave you on your own, which is not right. You have to be able to discuss how you feel with people that you trust. With people, I know in our African community, oh, we tend to say, ah, oh, but that shouldn't be so. We should be able to, it's like, like being self-aware. All this stigmatization, or how do you call it, we should be able to kind of disabuse it. And when you have professionals as a friend, you'll be able to talk, and you'll be able to get advice as you need it as we go along. So safety behavior can also help to keep anxiety going. um so there's some safety behavior to help cope, and you don't feel to find out what that without them. The anxiety will reduce or go away on its own. While avoiding situation might help you to feel better at that time, it doesn't make your anxiety any better over a long period. If you are frightened that your anxiety will make you pass out or vomit in a supermarket, you won't find out what will actually happen if you don't go to that supermarket, because you don't go. So the belief that it will happen remains along with anxiety, and then it goes a long way. So so um so anyway, so like I said, so we all feel anxious sometimes. A certain amount of anxiety helps us to be more alert. I've mentioned that before, and help us to organize ourselves. Um, so in moving forward, I'm going to talk a little about our organization and the package that we had during this COVID-19, especially to our vulnerable members. Like I said, we have some volunteers and we have some welfare committee who manages this volunteer. Some people they volunteer to even just give a phone call to someone. A phone call to see how you are or how you are doing goes a long way with some of our members. And even for people who are not part of the organization, if you have a friend that you think they're vulnerable, there's nothing stopping you from calling them. Even if someone call you and you don't feel like talking, you can just reply that, oh, thank you for your call. I'm sorry I missed your call. I'll call you back. They know you are okay. And same thing goes with us parents, with young people. Like young people, they go out, they are in their own world, they don't tell you when they're coming back, and then you start getting panicky. If you call them, they're not picking their calls, and they're meant to come back home on time, and they're not here. But you start panicking, and when they come back and you tell them that, oh, I've been waiting for you, you didn't pick up my call, or I've been waiting for you to, and they think, why are you being worried? They don't understand. This generation, their own generation, is different from our generation, and we just need to instill responsibility in them, and just instead of telling them off, or starting some outgrowth there, you just let them know. Like, put yourself in my position. If you have a young child that leaves home and didn't call, and would you just go to bed and not find out how they are or something like that? Sometimes if they are really up to it, they come back and apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't call yesterday, or my battery died, or something like that. But it's up during this. I mean, thank God now the easing off is not. We are starting to ease off the lockdown, so things are getting back. I mean, I'm sure things no, don't let me say I'm sure, but things will never get back to where we are before. But things are trying to get back to normal. They're trying to open up so many things now. From yesterday, the pub were open, the churches and everything were open. But let's be mindful that some all these things were open because it's affecting the economy. It's not like it's safe out there, so you people should just rush out to do things. You have to think, do I really need to go to where I'm going? Do I really need to do this? I know the young children, they won't listen. They say, oh, like my mom, for example. I was driving my mom to the hospital, and while we were going, she said, ah, I'm a balloon lawyer. And I'm saying, do you know what they are going out for? Do you know whether they don't have children to take them, but they're going for hospital appointment, or they're doing this, they're doing that? So some things like that, we need to kind of re-educate ourselves. We need to talk among each other that the fact that they open things doesn't mean we should just go out. We should know what we're going out for. Um, so, like I said, identifying the triggers will help us to kind of manage our anxiety. I mean, like I said, my mom will call 10 times, and if she doesn't get any one of us, my God, that's the end of it. She said, "I'll be calling you. Nobody's picking up. What's going?" I said, "Look, mom, if we see your missed call, we will call you. If we don't pick, that means we're busy." But they don't understand that. They think, "Oh my God, where's my child? Where is everybody? I can't find anyone." But you just need to kind of reassure people and make them feel safe, make them feel better. That it's good to worry, but when it becomes too much, then somebody needs to seek professional help. And like breathing exercise, you breathe in, you breathe out. We should always be practicing that. Like deep breath exercise goes a long way. And sometimes even cooking, people share recipe online. Like before, I used to go and buy this akara thing, but now I can fry akara from day and night because I know how to make it, and I know how to do it. Even like meat pie, a lot of our African community, we share a lot of recipe that we keep ourselves busy, and we keep ourselves away from this negative thinking. I know a lot of people at the beginning of it, we share a lot of video about people passing away, about colleagues and everything, that it makes you panic. But if you learn how to distract yourself, like don't listen to news. When you want to listen to news, listen to a news listen to news that is genuine, like maybe from WHO, World Health Organization, from NHS website, or from government report, because they take it. I think they do like briefing every week. Listen to that, but don't listen to social media, because everything in social media is not always the truth, and there's always this panicking thing that they sent around. Even before, during the lockdown, there was this thing that they connected this COVID-19 to G5 or something like that. Please just um disuse yourself from listening to all this unreliable news and concentrate on getting good things. Um, like um like I said, that I'm going to talk in Yoruba for our elders um that are among us. Everybody understand English, but sometimes in order to reach home, I have to speak in our language, especially in Araman. So mo kí ẹ̀yin ìyá wa lọ́kùnrin, ẹ̀yin ìyá wa àti bàbá wa lọ́kùnrin ní obìnrin, tẹ́ bá wà ní orí line tí ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ mi, pé it's good to think, it's good to be anxious about things, but listen to all the announcements. We in Araman, we have good communication team that we are always updating people of what is going on. Like this, like we're going to start, we've been planning on how to open the mosque. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of questions that people want to ask. We have designated people that can answer that. We have information every Sunday that we announce to people. Like before you come to the mosque, because the government says the mosque is open, doesn't mean you should start coming from tomorrow. There are a lot of things, there's a lot of preparation that we need to do that. But the most important one is our mental well-being. We should be able to take care of our mental well-being. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing, kò sí nǹkan tó wrong láti pè èèyàn kan pé máa ń feel bákan. There's always support. Nobody will laugh at you. There's nothing to laugh about. Anyone can become mentally unwell. Anyone can be stressed. Anyone can have a breakdown. It takes just one point to push someone over the other side, between the thin line of sanity and insanity. It only takes one stressful something. I know a lot of people, either loss of family or loss of loved ones or loss of colleagues, which has happened in the past. May Allah forgive the sins of those who have passed away, and may He continue to guide us and help us to deal with situation at hand. I'm gonna take a break now to answer any questions. Like I said, there are some useful resources online for all meets, inshallah, in peace and not in pieces. Kí Ọlọ́run kó foríjì gbogbo àwọn tó ti lọ, kí a ní ìpàdé ayọ̀. I'm ready for question if there's any question at all.
Assalamu alaikum, Alaja. Thank you for this wonderful talk this evening. You are well appreciated, and we've benefited a lot from this discussion. My question will be in Yoruba, if you don't mind. And the question mi máa lọ báyìí, fún nǹkan tó wà ń tà ń sìn, gbogbo àwọn àgbàlagbà wa náà ti ń fojú sọ́nà láti wá sí mọ́ṣáláṣí, tán dẹ̀ fẹ́ tún jáde lọ rí àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wọn àti láti ṣe àwọn nǹkan míì. Now, gẹ́gẹ́ bí expert nípa nǹkan báyìí, kí ni ìmọ̀ràn tẹ́ máa gbà wọ́n pé ṣé kán ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ sí mọ́ṣáláṣí lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ni, àbáwọn ìjáde tán fẹ́ jáde wọ́n lè ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ, àbí kí wọ́n yìí ní sùúrù gẹ́gẹ́ bí nǹkan tí ìjọba sọ? Kí ni advice ẹ lè fún wọn?
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe sọ in my presentation, pé even though wọ́n ti ní ká máa jáde ń sìn, but it doesn't mean that kí gbogbo wa rush out. because it's still not safe out there. Even from the news today, I want other people 30 is lockdown. They are now on lockdown because of the second wave of this infection. Mọ bí tí gbogbo nǹkan ń lọ, and it's just like I said, it's trial and error. Nobody have the definite answer. So my advice fún um àwọn elders, even not even elders, àwọn ará àràmánu wa, and even for people who are watching from outside, it's not the best time to really go out. If you don't have to go out, please don't go out. And like I said, I use my mom as an example. I was taking her to hospital on Thursday. She was in my car and she was looking out. She saw people going out. And she said, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ní ká má jáde. Mo lágbàlagbà kan tó ń lọ ní street nsìn. Mo ní mọ́mì ṣẹ́ mọ̀ nǹkan tó ń lọ fún ni. When it's not advisable. And from now, from the things I've read, like people above 60, they need to stay home. Luckily, we have a lot of things in Araman that we're doing online. Asalatu, it's not like missing Asalatu because we have it online. Even if you miss it in the morning, you can always go back and watch it. There are so many things like àwọn àdúrà tá máa ń ṣe, like alẹ́ àná, there was an àdúrà tó ń ṣe títí dalẹ́. So it's not like you are missing out. The socialization is not there, and we're still doing social distancing. So we need to be very careful before sending people out. We don't really need it now. Lágbára Ọlọ́run máa ṣọ́ ẹ̀mí wa tayọ gbogbo eléyìí, and we'll be able to overcome it and then meet, inshallah, with people and members. But I would say we need to kind of tread carefully before going out.
There's another question here which asks for a clarity on the issue of two types of anxiety. You did mention negative and positive one, and somebody is asking, can you please give us an example of the negative and the positive one and how to better manage them? Thank you.
Okay. For example, the positive one, like I said, it's natural to feel anxious about things, but when it is impacting on our day-to-day activities, then it's negative. For example, someone is going for an interview. You are bound to be anxious about the interview, but then it helps you to prepare yourself. Like, okay, what are the things that you can ask? There are so many things you can do. Answering interview online, you go on the website to check that. By knowing the company you are going to do the interview from, by calling colleagues or friends that have done that kind of job before, like, oh, what do you think they can ask? Those are the preparation you make. But you've made that preparation now. You're ready to go for the interview. But when you are not able to make those preparation and you're just panicking, oh, I've got an interview tomorrow. Oh, I'm not prepared. Oh, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm not going to be able to perform. I'm not going to be. That's a negative because you've already written yourself off before the interview. And for example, just exam. All these are our young children. We've heard now that, okay, their coursework will be used to base their exam, that they don't need to do the exam, but the first coursework that they've done, they will mark that. But for some people who have not prepared themselves up for the coursework, like some people are good at examination, some people are good at coursework. But if you have prepared yourself with the coursework, you should feel confident that, oh, no matter what, I'll still get the pass mark. But if you have not been prepared and you're thinking, oh, when we do the exam, I'll make up for my marks, and then this COVID period, they've cancelled all examination, so you are bound to feel anxious, and that's part of the negative anxiety that I'm talking about. So, am I making any sense? Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you. There's another question this is on YouTube. They're asking that will you be able to share your slides with us that we can share to audience after this presentation?
Yeah, I think yeah, I can send it round, or I can forward it to the media group for them to disseminate as appropriate. But I've got some useful resources here, like Mind, like Sen, like Samaritan. There are so many things. There are so many resources that I've shared. It's like 3 pages, and there's telephone number there. People can call confidentially. that it won't be discussed with anyone. Whatever you discuss with them is confidential, but you'll be able to get appropriate support and advice that you need. If you need to contact your GP, by all means, they will advise you. If you just need to do some, um, like some physical, like talking therapy or some exercise that they will recommend for you, it's there. So I think I've been showing that now. We're on page 2 of that, and I can put it on page 3 or something. But that's there. But yeah, I'll send it to you, and people can, whoever they find it useful, it's always they are welcome to. They're welcome to. I'm very happy to share it.
Thank you. There is an indication by one of the audience here to ask question, and
Yeah.
the person is on Alhaji Simisai. Over to you,
S-
sir. If you have
Assalamu alaikum, Shangbomi.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much for that, for this um, lecture. It was quite interesting. Quite actually gone now. You did well. I really enjoyed. Now, unfortunately, I missed the first few minutes. Maybe it's written. Now, question from Mobile, it's not COVID-19 related, but it's dealing with young people and mental and anxiety and etc. etc. Now, tí ẹ bá ní ọmọ tó wà ní especially teenagers. If you're
Yeah.
a teenager, I'm going to or parents working one by me. Now, but you discover that there's something wrong with them. Tough
Yeah.
about or so. But you
Yeah.
could tell that something is wrong with them. How do you approach such kids? Tell me, they put my two flares, my two flare in community. More, it's not COVID related, but it's kind of
Yeah.
general welfare and combat well-being.
Yeah, I do understand where you're coming from, and I'm used to all that because of my background in mental health. Especially àwọn ọmọ tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti over 18, right? They don't want you to know about their affairs, right? And even now in this country, Ọlọ́run tún fún wọn ní not Ọlọ́run, the UK law give them the power. Even kán lọ rí GP or kán lọ seek help. If they tell them that I don't want you to share anything with my parents, they don't have the right to share it. But gẹ́gẹ́ bí ṣe sọ pé all these kids, àwa la bí wọn, there's a way to kind of appeal to them. You're not forcing them because they are always resistant. When you try to force things on them, when you try to force things on them, they will definitely, um, they will definitely, they can bounce back to like what you're talking about. But if you talk to them properly, like, oh, what's going on? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? Or if you have if you know their friend that they are very close to, you can have a chat with your friend that, oh, did you notice did you notice anything, or what's going on between you two? Because I mean, remember that mommy, when did you see your best friend? To buy my best friend, okay, when did you see this person last? When did you talk with them? But I won't push it. Just it's just an open question to them. Oh, I don't see her anymore, or something like that. Then you now go further. That what's going on? Hello, Shelley. I don't want you to fight with your friend. Friends are always for each other. If you can't talk to me, you can always talk to your friend. That will give them an open line to discuss things. But for kids who are like under 18, I'm sure some people even 16, from 16, you cannot even talk about things. But it depends on the relationship. And like bí gbogbo wa ṣe mọ̀ pé Ọlọ́run ló ń báyàn tọ́ ọmọ nílùú yìí. It's not perfection. It's not kì í ṣe mímọ̀ ṣe anybody. But you would have been noticing something going on in their life. If they have like siblings or aburo or sister, you can even talk to them like, oh, find out what's going on with so person, and then leave it at that. But don't ever they can force Sarawa. Lay whatever force Sarawa, they won't be able to share things. Just for example, I've got a cousin or someone that's saying, oh, I didn't feel like coming home for uni something because, oh, my dad is this, my dad is that. And I said, oh, are you sure about that? We always think that things are okay. He said no because it's always stressing me. And I said it's not stress. We don't call it stress. We're parents. We care. We want the best for you, and we want something that we can be proud of you to do. So if your mom is or your dad is doing that, it's not like they hate you. They just want the best out of you. It's you. It's left for you to communicate and talk to your parent or talk to your dad or talk to your mom what is really going on. Because àwọn ọmọ yẹn tẹ́ ẹ bá push kẹ́tọwọ́ bọ̀ lẹ́nu, they won't say anything and you'll be thinking everything is fine until it gets out of hand that you will now be seeking professional help. But tá bá tètè nip ẹ̀ wọ́n ní tí náà ò bá tán pé kékeré la ti ń pẹ̀kan òrókò tó bá dàgbà ó máa di kìíní. We need to nip it at bud. Like bí mo ṣe sọ, it's not perfection. Kọ́lọ́n kó fún wa ṣe, kọ́lọ́n dẹ̀ fún wa láwọn ọmọ yẹn tọ́ ni.
I mean, we have about just 5 to 7 minutes to round up. There are two questions here. The first one is on the web saying, is there a link between a mental health and lack of sleep?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Like I said, I did mention it, like insomnia. Some people, like, sometimes normally, if we have things that we're thinking about, we might not be conscious of it. But think about what let me wa. Definitely, it might affect sleep. Wa. Is being able to fall asleep when we want to fall asleep. It's not a problem. But when you can't sleep and you are counting back the shifts and everything at night, then it is a problem. Sometimes àwọn míì máa fi alcohol, wọ́n máa fi compare pé o ti bá mu ọtí máa sùn. Or some people they go on medication. But there are so many things that we can do, like sleep hygiene, to prevent all that. But if there's like téèyàn bá ní nǹkan lọ́kàn tó ń rò, no matter sleep hygiene, no matter alcohol, no matter medication you use, that thing will still going to be pricking your mind. We call it rumination. You'll be ruminating in your head. I should have done this, I should have done that. Oh, boy, I can't even. But you should have like sleep hygiene. Calm yourself 1 hour before you go to bed. There's so many things you can do. Take yourself off phone. Have a warm drink like chocolate. Have a warm bath. Just relax yourself. Have a relaxation without watching TV or something. Just think about the success you've achieved for that day, things that could have gone better, and then you wake up another day. Sometimes even a couple of days ago, I went to my mom. She knew I was having something in my mind, and then she said, "Oh, ṣé kò sí?" I said, "No, kò sí nǹkankan." And then she said, "Tó bá ti yá ro díẹ̀, kó yá gbé kúrò lọ́kàn o." I laughed. And I came home and said, "Oh, did you hear what grandma said?" She said, "Oh, if I think about something, I should just take it off my mind." But it's not easy. But that's a word of encouragement. That's something to tell you that you need to think about positive way of doing this. Definitely is linked, and we call it insomnia. And sometimes you sleep too much. Sleeping too much too is not good for your health. But we should be able to balance the two. Sleeping at the right time that we're meant to sleep. But if something is in your mind, you're bound to be thinking about it. But find a solution. Sometimes solution is not there at that time. But if you take yourself back and think about it in a positive way, and then you'll be able to kind of find something. And if you need to take medication maybe for 2-3 days, by all means do, to balance your sleep back, and then things will move on. Inshallah, things will continue to improve from there.
Thank you. The last question. Thank you very much for the answers to that question. We have just one more to go and we'll round up now. And the question is from, not on YouTube this time, it's from the WebEx. Can you please talk briefly about people who are asymptotic?
Sorry?
Can you please briefly talk about people who are asymptotic, people who are from how do I describe it for you now? People that are not prone to diseases that we are currently facing. Or if I can ask the questioner to please unmute herself and ask the question directly.
Please, yeah.
1 second.
Hello.
Yes, go on and ask your question, ma'am.
Salam alaikum, man.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, I just want to say, can you please talk briefly about those who are asymptomatic?
For the COVID-19?
For the COVID-19. That is those who didn't have any symptoms at all, but have the disease.
Yeah, okay. What happened is we have discovered that they have discovered that some people may not show the symptoms, but and then when they do the test, they are still positive COVID-19. And for those kind of people, they need to comply with the social isolation. because even though they are not showing symptoms, but they can actively spread the infection.
Yeah.
So that's why they need to at least stay for 7 days social isolation. And if no symptoms is detected, then they are free to have a test just to make sure. I've got, like, I have a patient who are COVID-19 positive and they're not showing the symptoms, but that doesn't mean that we will deny them of the care that they meant to have. We can do like telephone consultation. We just won't do face to face. And when we do face to face, we have to maintain the social distancing. We have to wear PPE, and we have to kind of do all the necessary hygienic something to make sure that we are protected, and at the same time they are protected from spreading the infection around.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. And just during my presentation, like I forgot to mention, like, like, now that there's a lot of people who might be losing their job. There's a lot of people who their hours have been cut down. There's a lot of people who don't even have the job to go back to. But it's not the end of the world. We managed to cope for a couple of months without going out, and things were still going on in our life. And God so good, the government is kind of the government of UK, they are kind of supportive. There's so many resources we can help. There's some people that were getting paid, even though they're not going to work, but they're getting paid. But the only problem will be for those people who are not able to claim benefit. But now, even the government have kind of um, put a package plan in place for those people who are affected by COVID-19. They can still get help, and they can still get some payment. It might not be a whole payment or something, but there's something there that they can still tap into. Unlike back home in Nigeria, where we all come from, there's no support. There's no organization. That's why people are resistant to the social isolation that poverty is killing us already. What's more to kill us than to go out and work? So there's different things there, but at the end of the day, we'll have to think about our well-being, because tabakpawo ọ̀hún náà tábà sí láyé láti nà, what's the onset of it? So we need to take care of ourselves, and we need to look after ourselves. Owo awa anytime, but we just need to kind of continue to advise friends and family, and if there's anyone we can help abroad, we need to send money to them so that they won't feel pressured that they have to go out there to get infected or to go and work or something like that.
Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. We are coming to the end of it. And just because I asked the chairman board of trustee of Asalatu Rahman to do his vote of thanks, I just want to commend you and to add to the point that even in Nigeria, we have some organizations coming up now to address some of the issues you've raised, that the country I came from, which is Nigeria, we are not really backward now. We are on top, and we are doing some of the recommendations you've advised on
Speak
today.
louder a bit.
Now, what I'm saying is, I've just thank you immensely for this wonderful presentation today. And I said just before the chairman of board of trustee of Salatu Rahman will do his vote of thanks on behalf of this association, I'm only commending and adding and alluding to what you've said, that Nigeria is also coming up with some modalities and plans and programs to address some of these areas of concern you've raised. Thank you so much. Just hold on for the chairman
Thank
of our board of
you.
trustees to thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Auto the Yoruba says pé a kì í dúpẹ́ ara ẹni. If I can translate that into English, that if somebody belongs to you and you don't, you are appreciating him or her, but at the same time, Yoruba náà ló tún ní yínrín yínrín kẹ́ni lè ṣe mí. We are really appreciative of all that you have given to us. We know it's not an easy task to face the world and deliver this kind of presentation. It must have taken you a loads of preparation to get to where you arrive today. We pray to Almighty Allah to continue to increase you in knowledge, in ikimo, and everything you ask for from Him, Bijay Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Iṣẹ́ yín ò ní dìṣẹ́ o, ẹ ní ṣiṣẹ́ o, ẹ ní ṣìkọ́ o, ẹ ní ṣìgbọ́ o. Warafa'nahu makana alayya. We shall continue to progress in all its ramifications by the grace of Allah. Wala rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. Gbogbo àwa listeners náà táwa fi nǹkan tá à ń ṣe lẹ̀ láti lè jẹ àǹfààní nǹkan tí wọ́n fún wa. Inshallah, will be beneficial to each and every one of us. We shall all live to narrate the story of COVID-19, and we shall not be used for the narration of COVID-19, inshallah. And gbogbo àwọn tó ti bá lọ gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣàdúrà Ọlọ́run adarí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ oníkàlùkù wọn ìjòkó Ọlọ́run àtẹ́wọ́ gbà wọn. Ọlọ́run la hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Gbogbo wa ayọ̀. As-salatu Rahman that actually united each and every one of us. Inshallah, the association will continue to work stronger and stronger. Bijai Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamu ala mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Thank you very much and God bless.
Thank you, and thank you too for listening. Ọlọ́run àtúbọ̀ fún wa ṣe, a nípàdé ayọ̀. Ọlọ́run
Thank you.
ti fi lè ṣàṣemọ́.
Thank you so much. This brings to an end of this wonderful lecture today, and we hope when we call you next time, you will oblige us and you'll be here on time and give us more value for our time. Thank you so much, and bye for now, all. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.